Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and more. Follow Elliot in the Morning everywhere social at EITM Online.
The Head and the Heart have a brand new record out today. Please welcome Mr. Jonathan Russell. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you? I am great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. This is early for me, but you know.
How is this early for you?
It's early.
I know you're a band guy. You're a band guy.
Band guy.
Is record release day not a big deal? Because I still can't figure out why you're here on the day that the record comes out.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Thanks for taking me in. I appreciate this, guys. You saw me outside, and you were like, "That looks like."
I'm just thinking,
very
like,
kind of you.
The record's coming out. It's a big deal. Like, it's finally like here it
yeah.
is.
Like we should you think all of us should be together. Where there should be some like massive popping of champagnes or cake or something.
Yeah, something.
Nope. Just me and my wife staying at the Evans Hotel, as we call it.
It's the even. It's the even. Yeah. Now we stayed at a hotel next door. He came over. Don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled I feel like I'm more excited about the record coming out today than you are.
I'm feeding off your energy, and it's really helping. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we've been sitting on this record. We finished this record in January, and as I was sitting here listening to these last two songs, you were playing "Don't Share a Weakness" and "Hurts But It Goes Away," and it was great. It was the first time I've heard those songs outside of my four walls that I've been living in the last 2 years.
Ooh, how does it sound?
It sounds great. It sounds real. It's in the wild now. It's everyone's. It is exciting, and thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
No. I'm thrilled. But again, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But when you say that the record's finally out, I expected you to say like, "Oh, this thing has been done for a while."
Yeah. No, we've just been working on it for so long. I mean, this is the longest.
Stupid COVID.
Normally, like we'll have, a record will be finished within like a few months in terms of when you start tracking and when you wrap up. This one, for better or worse, we had a long time to kind of keep adding stuff to it.
Can you not help yourself? Like, are you that guy who's like? And I mean, listen, I know that it's the group. I understand that. Right. But I mean, is it like you said, you had time, unfortunately, where it's like, okay, we did this, we did this, and then
you're like, but what if we did?
Right.
Yeah. It depends on the song. Like, there's one song on there, "Love We Make," that I still to this day have like 25 versions of what I think this song should sound like, and neither of those are the one that's on the record. But that was unique. Fortunately, I think for myself. And it does help to have 5 other members around you who are kind of like signaling to you, kind of like body language when you're like, hey, so should we get a drink? And everyone's just kind of like looking at their phone. Like, that's body language, right? So like that kind of thing happens in the band as well, where it's like, hey guys, what if we and then there's just no one on the Zoom call anymore. So you're like, okay, cool, I think this song's done. Moving on. So,
So wait, go back to what is you said there's 25 versions of which song?
Oh, "Love We Make," yeah.
Right, and there's 2 versions that you love. Like, you were like, this is it.
There's one and
a
half,
everybody
and
was like,
one
popped
really
off the Zoom.
cool bridge in this other version. Yeah.
But what did so how does now that's something a little bit more important than should we go here or go there? It's what version's going to end up on the record.
Totally.
That
was stressful.
How does that play out?
I think I just had to call it and say I'm too close to this, and trust that the other 5 people were like, they were stoked on it, and I think you just need to know when to bow out.
And were you fighting for a while? I don't mean fighting like just making your case as to why you thought one of these 2 versions should be.
Well, it's kind of like you'd call like. For certain songs, you have different relationships with different people in the band. Like, you can tell on this song, like, me and the bass player, we're locked in. So you call the guy who's like, I know, dude, you're totally right. Like, you should have that in the bridge. So you feed your own ego, and you call that guy, and you've had, you're sitting at home for 2 years. You're on your like 5th whiskey, and you're just like, Chris, tell me this isn't better, bro. And he's just like, I know. And then you wake up the next morning, and you try and pitch that idea to everybody else, and they're like, yeah, I don't like that idea. And, like, and again, so that's when I was just like, I'm too close to this. Like, hang up the hat. The song is done. And now looking back, it sounds great.
I was going to say, are you mature enough that you can go back and go, they were right?
No. No, I still have the 25 versions that I'm sitting on. I'm waiting for the outtakes version, man. That demo is ready to go
now,
whenever they need it.
Does that ever go? I have to assume that goes the other way, where somebody else in the band will go, I think what we need to do is this, and then you go, no, I'll tell you what, I was talking to Chris, we've both been drinking a little bit, but we both decided you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe it happens. I guess I block those out. Yeah, I have selective hearing, but no, that's for sure. I mean, it's just like there's other songs where I would have heard what was the demo, the starting point of a song like Paradigm, which I think is like track 3. Yeah, track 3. Which starts with the bass line, boom, 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 and it was very sparse. And I had like a year just listening to that demo, and so when the band came in and was adding their things to it, I was just like I guess actually no, this is again me being a nutcase. So I think maybe I'm the one who's always a little too close to it.
We're learning a little
yeah,
something.
We are. Yeah, this is great. Am I paying you for this, or how's this work?
But now, when you so the way that the record was done, this is what I was reading, was because of everybody being kind of separated where they were and what they were doing, is a lot of it was done ahead of time, where everybody has done well enough that everybody kind of has like their own little studio set up and stuff. But when it was go time, everybody went and met in Seattle.
Right.
And but wasn't it like some old studio that you guys had worked in before?
Yeah, it's this place called Studio Litho. It's where we did the first 2 records. And it's a very it's like a working man studio. It's very like nonchalant, not a lot of frills. But it's familiar. And we brought in the old engineer, like the original engineer. I don't want to call Sean old. Sean, sorry, you're not old. Our early days engineer, and we brought him back in, and then we brought up with us a producer that we were working with primarily, Jesse Shatkin from L.A. He met us up, and that was a really interesting pairing because he's kind of more in the pop, almost hip hop world, and I had been kind of working with him doing some demos in L.A. like a couple years prior, so I had him on my radar, and I was just like, I just feel like this is going to be an interesting juxtaposition, an interesting convergence of like his world. The last time he worked with a band was like 10 years ago, and it's the only other time he had done that. He's used to working with one artist, pop artist. It's a completely different world. But he, for some reason, just had this ability.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, he hadn't worked in 10 years.
No.
So you know what?
Yeah.
He seemed anxious. He wanted the job.
Nah, man. But
he's
like
used to working with just like you said, like an individual pop artist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so then to come in and work with a band he hasn't done in 10 years.
Totally. Yeah.
Do you know who it was 10 years ago?
I can't remember, and I don't want to get it wrong on radio.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. No, I just didn't know if it was somebody who'd be like, holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, possibly you would, but I don't know. I'm pretty bad about that. Wait, was I supposed to prep for this? Oh, is this live?
I just love your honesty. I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
No.
So anyway, but you thought, you know what? We'll bring him in, and then his world will kind of mix with ours.
Yeah.
And the producer guy or whoever it was who came in, and did it go the way you thought it would?
Well, it never goes completely the way you think it's going to go. But I still really like what happened. And really what the main thing is, I think, because there's 6 people in this band, I mean, the important thing for us, whoever we're working with, is it's not just about how I or one other person feels in relation to this producer. It's like, what's the relationship with every individual to this person? Can they make them feel at ease in the room? Can they bring something out of them? Can they make them feel like a kid in a candy store, which to me is when the most fun happens in a studio, is when everyone's relaxed, their guard is down, they don't feel like they have to like tiptoe around. Like the first time we ever worked with a producer, we were like, yeah, hey, Jay, can I pick up my guitar now or not yet? And so, I mean, and maybe that was just we were younger.
Was that just young and dumb?
I guess so. It was the first time, because our first 2 records we produced ourselves, so we weren't used to being around like
a professional.
Yeah,
right. Like you have a boss there all of a sudden.
Yeah. We were kind of like, wait, I know it's our record, but we're kind of in your house. So, I guess a lot of it is we've grown up. We've worked with producers now. We've kind of learned the ropes a little more.
Would producers say the head and the heart are difficult to work with?
I would say, yeah, probably. More than likely, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Is it just well, no, it's not just because
process,
there's 6
man.
of you.
That's our process. It's partially because of that. It's partially because we claim and we try and uphold this democratic, way of approaching things, which, I mean, look around on all your posters. Typically, there's like a front man, a
Okay,
leader.
so let's use the Kiss poster. I feel like all 4 of them have always had equal say, and it's never just been about Gene and Paul.
Exactly. So you understand what I'm saying. So when a producer comes in and they're like, wait a second, who should I talk to for this? I'm like, what song is it? They're like, good God. And again, so all of that takes a special skill set, and it's beyond their musical talents as a producer. It's really boils down to what's their personality type. How patient are they?
Right.
You know, Jesse had a small dog, almost like a therapy dog. That was helpful.
Right.
Shout out to Joey if you're listening.
So you are not. So you would say that the band is difficult to work with, not because you guys are a bunch of dicks,
right.
but just because
No.
that it's fair say, or as best that you can.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a more complicated, less streamlined, more circuitous, perhaps. I don't ever use that word, but it feels like the right time to use that word.
I don't even know what it means.
I don't either. I'm drawing a circle on your table here. And then I'm also thinking about circuit. So if that's the right word, hit the green light. Wrong word, whatever. I think that's right. Anyway, so yeah, there's a roundabout way that we like to get to the bottom of something, and you know, that can drive somebody insane, or like some people can just go like, all right, well, let me know when you're ready, guys, and just feed up, and
right,
and then they have the patience.
Are you guys a mess when you're together?
Possibly. I mean,
like when you go into the studio, is it work time, or is it like, we'll get there? Like, is it?
I think it's somewhere in the
middle. Do I have a lot of time with my feet up waiting on you guys?
Yeah. Well, it just depends on the song.
I know one. I believe it's track 3 where I probably sat with my feet up for a while waiting to get that done. I did read, though, that going back to the studio in Seattle, that your old bicycle was there.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. A decade later.
And it's still just
okay, not a
there?
decade later. Maybe 8 or 9 years later. But it was just, I mean, unmoved. It was just perfectly behind a bunch of boxes. And, I mean, I had to inflate the tires, but luckily, like half a block away was a bike shop, so I just went over there and I inflated the tires, and then eventually had it boxed.
But how
up and
random
shipped.
is that your bike was still there a decade later?
Because you know what it was like when we wrapped up Let's Be Still, I immediately moved back to the East Coast, so that was like mid-2013 when we finished that record, and so like the one thing I didn't have a way of like packing and moving was that bike, and so I left it in the, I don't know if you know any drummers, but here's what drummers do. They tell you
if I know any drummers.
Know any drummers? Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. So the drummer in my
I don't know.
band,
Is Dave Grohl a drummer?
Yeah. Okay. Name drop. Well, my drummer. Anyways, my friend and my good friend and drummer in this band, Tyler Williams. We went to high school together in outside of Fredericksburg. He promised me. That he was like, cool. Like, you got to leave your bike. I'm heading back to East 2. I'll throw it in my car. I was like, you sure? He's like, I got you. You sure? I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Let me know when you get home. I'll come up and get the bike. He gets home. I'm like, yeah, how's it going? How's the drive? Like, yeah, not bad. I'm like, cool. When should I come by? He's like, for what? I'm like, my bike. He's like, oh, I didn't get your bike. So the bike sat for 9 years. Yeah. And then, and it was still there. I mean, like it was a little dusty, but that was it.
So now was that the last time you rode the bike though?
Oh yeah.
Because we did learn prior to turning the mics on, you just started working out again.
1 week ago. It's been a strong 7 days.
I don't know why that makes me laugh. I just was so not expecting that. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm back working out again. This started last week.
That's about how far out I can think. It's like, well, what are you doing in a week? I got to go on tour. I should start working out.
Are you working out because you're going back on tour?
100%.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wait, is it because like it's been a while since we toured? You don't want to get on stage and everybody be like, "Holy crap, Jonathan let himself go."
It's partially
or
that.
Is it like
it's
just
partially that, but it's also just like psychological. Like when I was on tour and we had a structure, and I would jog after whatever, like after sound checks, it would clear my head. Like it was just my way of like handling stress.
Wait a minute, you would do sound check during the day and then go jog?
Yeah.
Is that normal?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not talking like half marathons here. We're talking, I don't know, 20 minutes. Just enough to clear your head. Don't, I mean, I appreciate how much credit you're giving me here, but like, I'm just clearing the head jog. You know what I mean? We're not doing half marathons.
But I don't clear my head jog.
Yeah, well,
at all.
I think whatever works. Some people But I don't know.
No, I do think that's Jonathan, but I don't know. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, wait. So back up for a second. So, like you said, you were moving back east.
Yeah.
So you're a Richmond guy, right?
Yes.
Starting at what age?
I was 19. I moved there in 2004.
Oh, why did I think you were younger than that when you moved there?
Well, I moved to Fredericksburg, Virginia when I was 12.
Oh, okay.
From Florida.
Okay, all
so
right.
if we want to, I don't know how deep and how Florida man you want to get, but we can go there if you want.
Why did you move? Well, I know why you moved. I'm assuming it was because your family moved.
Yeah.
Why did your family ditch Florida for Fredericksburg?
My dad was a welder, and he had a better paying gig in Virginia. So
Okay.
he was doing he was living out of motels for like months on end to like do projects that he was making like double and overtime at. My mom and my brother and I would still be in Florida, and he would come home, and it was just kind of weird. It wasn't sustainable, and wasn't really sustainable after that either. But I'm like, it's funny. It didn't really get better when we were together. But anyways, that's how we went from Florida to Virginia. Was parent like my dad's work.
Right. Okay. So then you end up in Fredericksburg.
Yep.
And then that's where you grew up. Like that was it.
Middle school, high school, graduated, delivered pizzas, saved up 2 G's, and moved to Richmond.
And then from Richmond, who were you delivering pizzas for?
Sam's Pizza in Fredericksburg.
Oh wow, go you, go you! Which Subway sandwich shop did you work at?
The one actually in the same shopping mall.
Boy, that's awkward when the pizza manager would see you roll in.
Yeah, but also I started out. My first store was in Carytown in Richmond. It's no longer there actually. It's like a furniture store. But dude, I worked there for 2 years. That was like the longest held job I've ever had, other than this
working
one.
at the Subway sandwich shop?
Yeah.
You worked there for 2 years?
2 years. Can you believe that? Like, who hangs on for 2 years? I mean, like, I guess more specifically, when you're 19, like 19 to 21, like, just committed. $7 per foot long, people. Not 8. 7.
That was your thing. You were that they loved you there. You know what? Never messed up the olive count.
I took it very. I over olived. That's why I know it's only 7. They were like, John, what did we talk about last night? Remember when we were shutting down? What did we talk about? 7.
So get me to you leave Richmond at how old were you?
I was 23, and it was January 2009, and it was me and my friend Nicole. We spent about 3 weeks getting there. We went
to Seattle.
Yeah.
Why? How? Well, what was the
why?
Yeah. What was the reason to go to Seattle?
So she was going to move there anyways because she actually went to college and she had a degree. We met working at a restaurant. So she was like,
well, we've already gone through Sam's Pizza and Subway. What's the third restaurant?
Yeah, well, I've been working in food since I was 14. So that's all I did. 14 to 24 was the food industry. Basically.
Well, where did you meet this young lady?
It was a place called Bank. It was a restaurant there. She was a server. I was a server. She's a friend of mine. We're still friends. Both of our
was that a romantic thing though?
No.
So she was
going
to
it was like
Seattle.
she's like a tomboy. We were like homies, and like so she was gonna move to Seattle. Period. Her cousin was a merchant marine and had a condo that was gonna be vacant from like January to April or something, and she was just like, I have essentially a free place to try out, and she had a degree and had job offers. I was busting tables, dishwashing, and whatever else. And had $350 in my account. I was just like, I'll give you all my money if you let me come with you. And her parents loved the idea. She was like, great, my daughter's not going to move across the country by herself. Like, please go. I was friends with her. I'd known the family well at that point.
Right.
And
are you like doing music and stuff at this point?
Yeah, I had recorded I had done like an EP on my own. I was just, up until that point, I was trying to be really serious about music. And I just kept having band members kind of fall out for different reasons, whether it was like, a real job or their wife is like no or whatever, like obvious things. And I was just like, I'm sick of this. I need to be more in control because this is what I want to do. I don't have a backup plan. There is no backup plan. So these people are like, messing up my game here. So I knew that Richmond just good enough was kind of the attitude there, and I wanted to get out of that. So I was looking for anywhere to go.
Right.
This opportunity came up, and I said, all right, well, if you'll let me come with you, like I'll give you my last paycheck, which was not much, but she said yes, and we.
So you gave her all $350.
All $350,
and you moved out there with nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's ballsy.
Well, what
was the option?
I didn't have much to lose. Let's be honest. Like I was living in a hallway, so it's like a hallway here or a hallway there. At least it'll be a new scene. I don't know. Something's gonna happen.
How long? So how long were you in Seattle before the band starts to form?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, within about a month, I started going to all these open mics because if you play and somebody likes you, you get a free beer because I had no money. And that's where I started meeting these musicians, was there. So within a month, I had met Josiah, who is no longer in this band, but he and I were the ones to initially start writing music together, and it kind of fanned out from there. I'd say in about a year is when the band was formed.
So a year later, like you said, though, like you're writing and you're doing stuff and you're playing and doing all that.
Yep.
But it was a year later that you kind of felt like, okay, that as we know it, the head and the heart comes together.
Exactly. That's about when the music chemistry felt right. We had gone through quite a few renditions of we had a metal drummer, metal guitar player, we had a trumpet player, we had a glockenspiel clarinet girl.
Did you?
We had all kinds of weird things. We didn't know. For us, we had no clue really what our sound was going to be. It was all about songwriting and work ethic and just synergy. Like what happens in the room. And so, honestly, it was less about we're gonna have piano, bass, drums, violin, harmonies, acoustic, and electric guitar. We had no idea. It's just literally it was like the chemistry musically of those people. When we finally rehearsed one time, we were like, "This is it." And then the sound
so just
evolved.
Throw all the toys together.
Yeah.
The ones that work out together, they'll work out together.
Yep.
Dude, that's pretty cool. That's a great story.
Yeah.
And then so now that we made it, now it's okay to move back to Richmond?
Yeah, in 2013, we had been signed to Sub Pop. We had done tours. We had put out our second record, as the Bike Story. We had just finished our second record, and it was about to come out. And I just wasn't. I'm not built for Seattle. It's a beautiful city. I've
always wanted to go.
You've never been?
I've never. No, I've never visited there.
Oh, okay.
I'm dying to visit there, though.
Honestly, I feel like with what do we not say? Climate change, whatever, whatever you want to call that. It's a lot nicer there currently. It used to rain a lot more.
Oh, really?
So you
bonus.
waited. It was good for you to hold out. Yeah. But yeah. So I moved back to Richmond, Virginia. I just kept being drawn back to it. My mom has always lived there as well. And so I moved back, and yeah, that's kind of when I just reestablished. 4 years of doing it professionally up until that point, until 2013. And just doing all of these, we said yes to everything, and we were doing these international tours. Great problem to have, but psychologically, I was just kind of a hot mess.
Oh, really?
And I felt very grounded in Richmond, Virginia, moving back, which I never thought I would want to. And when I did, I was just like, man,
well, it's home.
These are my people.
And that's where you grew up. That's where you became who you are.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. So the record is out today. Do you remember where you were the day the first record came out?
No. 12 years ago? No.
How about the last record?
No, not even. I mean, I think you're right. You when we started this, you're like, how important is record release day? I think it's more important for people who finally have access to more music, which to me is the whole concept of putting out a record, obviously. But
so I really shouldn't have made a big deal about wow, he's coming in. It's the day the record comes out.
Yeah, no.
Because a year from now, somebody will go, hey, where were you last time? Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, who knows? Although, to be honest with you, this has been really great. I mean, I thought this was going to be kind of like a very we'll make time and then we'll see you later. This has been a really great interview so far. So,
oh, really? Thank you.
I mean, I'm having a great time, and this is great. You're obviously really good at what you do. You know that. That's not what I meant.
But now I'm starting to get the mindset of the other five. I'm starting to see where that comes from. I can feel that.
Oh, God.
All right, let me do this.
What you're saying is I don't need my therapist anymore.
I got you. I got you. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. You have an instrument with you, which means you're going to play.
Yep.
All right, quick break. We'll come back more with Jonathan Russell, The Head and the Heart. Every Shade of Blue, out and available as of midnight today. Quick break. More with Jonathan next.
Connect with Elliot in the Morning on Facebook at EITM Online.
It's Elliot in the Morning. Jonathan Russell is with us. The Head and the Heart. Brand new record, Every Shade of Blue, is out today. All right, we'll play, then we'll talk, then we'll play.
Cool.
All right, let's play then. What are we playing?
Virginia, Win in the Night.
Oh, I like that song. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, well, that just kind of came out of nowhere.
Great.
All right, here we go.
Virginia don't sound like she used to. Walking home late, smoking my lungs and whiskey burning in my veins. December won't be so forgiving. I'm haunted by a ghost of you and my past colliding. I can never go home. When in the night, when in the night, thought that I heard you laughing. Wasn't that you, my darling? Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. But I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, baby. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. But I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, yeah. I've traveled all over in my life, and nothing slowed me down. This place that I used to love, well, it's just another town. Wind in the night, the wind in the night. Remember I caught you dancing alone in that first apartment. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. But I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, baby. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, yeah. I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know your heart's beating for me, yeah. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. But I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know the heart's beating for me, yeah. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. But I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, baby. Virginia don't sound like she used to. Virginia don't feel like she used to. I can feel her heart beating for me, baby. I know her heart's beating for me, yeah. The wind in the night, wind in the night, the wind in the night.
Jonathan Russell is with us. The Head and the Heart. Every Shade of Blue is out today. That song in particular. So the first time I heard it is a great song. Great song.
Appreciate that.
The first time I heard it though, I couldn't tell and obviously I know that you grew up in Richmond or spent time and in Virginia. The first time I heard it though, I couldn't tell if I thought, wow, he really likes it, or wow, he really does not like it.
Yeah, well, I think that's telling. I mean, to be honest with you, when I was writing this song, I was still living in the Bay Area because that's where my wife is from. And I was still always kind of struggling with my the identity of do I let Virginia go, or do I accept what in my opinion is just the honest truth of that is where I feel like who I am the most. It's where I feel the most rooted. However, you make choices in your life, you fall in love, you meet people, and sometimes it takes you away from those areas.
Right.
And you're making choices. So I was choosing to be where I was at the time, which was not in Virginia. And so when I would go home and visit, I would have these kind of identity crises. My mom was there, so I'd go there a lot. And I would always, all these memories would be dredged up, and I feel like a stranger in my own town.
Right.
Even though I oddly felt so connected. It was just a really strange relationship that I had at the time when I wrote this song. I kind of it just kind of felt like you were just aware of a city can love you and forget you overnight.
Sure.
I mean, I moved there as a 19-year-old, and I'm there now as a 37-year-old, and it's seen me in a lot of different versions of who I am. I have friends there who, are they have kids, they have wives, and you come back and you're like, hey, you want to go to there? And hey, no, sorry,
no, we really don't.
I'm just putting Joshua down for bed. And, yeah, maybe we'll get some coffee tomorrow. Can you get up at 6? And you gonna get up at 6? And I'm like, no. So there was a moment where I was just gosh, what is my identity here? You know the line about the top of verse 2, this place that I used to love is just another town, which is
I remember when I first played this, like, I tend to send demos to my mom as like a first listen kind of vibe, and she was like,
"Excuse me, do you really?"
Yeah. She's like she's just a really honest. She's very honest,
Right?
And like is never what. Just because I'm her son does not mean she's gonna be like, "It's a beautiful song, Jonathan."
Right?
She'll be like, "What does the chorus mean?" I'm like, "Oh, good God!" And this is why I do it.
Right.
It's like it's just a very real, honest, like direct response. So she usually gets my demos first.
So you did that, you sent it to your mom, and what was her first response?
Tears. She was like, and it's the first time that I realized that I had put so much honesty into. I don't know if I'm going to come back and live here ever again.
Right.
I didn't even dawn on me that that's what I was saying. She was like, "Oh my God!" She was like, "It's great." I broke down in tears, and I was just like, "Why?" And then I listened to it, and I was just like, "Whoa! I guess I really am kind of saying like I've moved on, or it has moved on, or they have moved on." It's interesting. I mean, like I almost didn't even know that that's what I was doing or saying.
So two things. So I'll follow up on that, but I do want to get into something else where you talk about the with that song in particular, and it's so personal, it's so honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've known you for let's call it an hour.
Yeah.
When you know a song, like especially because it went through the gatekeeper mother, and it was so honest, and she starts crying. Do you care what critics think? Because that song, I mean, people like it. Obviously,
other than my mom?
No. But I mean, like, obviously,
Like
the song is doing unbelievably well. Like, so fans love it. New fans love it.
Yeah.
But it even feels like music critics love it.
Do they?
I mean, from some of the stuff that I read. Okay. So my guess is that not only maybe you care, maybe you don't. You just don't seek it out.
I never expect. I try not to have any expectations because in the past I've been burned, where it's like the ones that I expect like to be obviously like welcomed, or that maybe they mean a lot to me and whatever. You kind of like realize like that's not maybe the safest place to throw your emotions. So I've kind of gotten to the place where like I have my inner circle of like I use them as a barometer. You know, I have my people I trust, and like even them, it's like cool. Well, I still had to write that song regardless. Like it's not like I don't. There's no panel that's like, hey guys, how we thinking? Should we put a bridge in? Like no, the song comes out because it has to come out, and you know it.
But you want your art to be liked.
You do, but like you also have to live with the fact that some people will like it and some people will not, and that's just the reality. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. Here's the other thing I wanted to ask you. I saw somewhere you guys are all getting together to do the record. And you talked about the end result is great, where you guys all finally got to a place where it may be, like you said, the most honest, the most personal record that you guys have put out.
Yeah. Bold. It's almost like I think it's the most bold record we've ever done as well.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair word. I could see where that would come up. Yeah. How close were you to not being a band?
Oh, right. Pretty close. I mean,
was it that close? You guys hired a therapist.
We did.
For the band.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I give you all the credit in the world for, because I feel like there's bands, other bands, and maybe even some people in your band that would have been like, I'm not hiring a therapist.
Right.
Like, we're not a married couple.
Yeah, but we are.
But you are. I mean, you guys are. You're stuck with each other.
Yeah, it's polygamy at its core, I'd say.
But
that's the headline.
But every time I start reading some things. Like, the first thing I read, it was like, yeah, you know what? We had some issues that we let fester. And then you start reading a couple of other things, and you're like, we had some real issues that had started to fester. And then I don't know who released the statement that came out at midnight, whether it was you or whether it was done collectively through the band. But if you read through the kind of in between the lines, you're like, whoa, I don't know that they expected to get to this point.
Well, for many reasons. I mean, one is what you're leaning into right now, which is the mental aspect of it, which is very true as well. But to be honest with you, like also like midway through this pandemic, when you hear of other artists like trying to go back on the road and then yet again having to pull their tickets and yet again having to apologize to their fans and yet again having to like stay at home or whatever, it's like, do we have a job for our own? Like, is this going to work based on our own issues or fractured foundation? Or, but also, like, even if we get our act together, like, is there an industry out there Are we just playing in parking lots with people in their cars honking and like flashing lights? Like we like it,
right?
Like what's nobody knew what the world was going to be like either. So yeah, it was a pretty tumultuous time, and we already had quite a bit of Band-Aids stacked up over the years, over the decade, and it felt good to dive in with a therapist because, again, I think maybe this is my sweet spot, is when there's nothing to lose, like you're just gonna go full bore, right? So like we were like, you could kind of just tell that some of us were at our wits' end, and which was maybe the healthiest place to be. We all were finally ready to just be completely honest, and we had like a referee in the room. You know, that's kind of how I feel like this therapist thing works with us as a band. It's like there's somebody to kind of jump in when the tropes that like the oh well, if I say this, that's gonna piss that person off, so I can't say that.
Right.
Which just creates this blockage, and then you're not really able to be honest. And so having this this person around, it just really allowed us to all kind of really be honest and vulnerable and direct, which led to this amount of trust and vulnerability that allowed us, once we were then being creative again, everyone was being vulnerable, which is, I think, the best place to be when you're making art. I think I just said vulnerable like 10 times.
Yeah, but you know what? It works in this context. It works in this context.
Yeah. So
it works coming out of your mouth. If I went with it, it sounds forced.
Cool,
sounds forced.
Fair. So yeah. I mean, all of that, honestly, like I think had the biggest impact on the songwriting and the choices that were made. We didn't do what we typically do, which is by the end of the record, we get rid of all the like weird stuff, and we make it safe, because everyone's kind of like, the other thing about checks and balances and like everyone being like having an equal say is like we can kind of start canceling each other out. We left the mess in this record. That's why there's 16 songs on this record. That's why there's like, I mean, it's all over the place, genre wise, like songwriting wise. It's just to me like a very beautiful mess, like it's eclectic, feels like a circus.
Right.
It's not maybe what we are all used to now with this very like digest it, move on. It's not like that. This is like come back to it, visit, sit with it, listen in a car, listen on a walk, listen with friends. I think this isn't just supposed to like be listened to and forgotten in a day. Neither should anyone's art, I think. But
right.
That's
no,
where
but I
we're
understand
right now.
Hey, so can I ask you two things about the therapist?
Yeah.
Was this I'm not in a band. Yeah. Is this like a thing? Like, are there therapists who deal with bands, or was this something?
She had never worked with a band, as far as I know.
Did she know who you guys were?
I don't think so. She still probably could care less, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, she's dealing
We'd like to start with a question. Do you know who we are?
Yeah. No, from my experience, whether it's like a stranger at a bar or your therapist, kind of just want to leave it at that.
But now, as other bands have heard that what worked for you guys,
mm-hmm.
Has anybody, and I'm not going to ask you to name bands, but has anybody gone, oh, you know what? There's something to that.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's, in all honesty, I haven't really been out there again yet, so I haven't really spoken to too many other artists. I will say I'm good friends with J-Roddy, Walson in the Business, now Pom Pom in Richmond,
right,
Virginia, and without like airing out his laundry on live air. I mean,
let's do it.
Yeah. No, it was a beautiful moment where he reached out. We both kind of had reached out at different times, and we had an afternoon where we went and got lunch, and we just like, it was just like, hey, I go through this too. We don't really know too many other people who go through this, not our wives, not our friends. So it was just really cool to have like that type of a moment with somebody in your own town who understands it, who gets it. And he asked about the same question that you're asking about the therapy, and I'm like, yeah, man, like it's kind of funny, but like it's working, and it's inevitably like
I think it's great.
So yeah, so hopefully the stigma of like let's not talk about our feelings is kind of wearing off. If that lunch I had with J-Rod was any correlation, I mean, I feel like it's good. It's good to talk about these things, and people are curious and realizing that if it's working for that person, maybe I should give it a go. I mean, it was a weird 2 years. We just went through some pretty gnarly times. So.
Well, especially because like when you were talking about doing shows, and it's people in a parking lot honking. I could imagine from the band side of it, that's got to be the weirdest thing in the world. Of course it is. But like, and I can't remember who it was, but there were a couple other bands that would kind of bring that up. And I would go, but think about how much your band means to somebody that they're going to sit in a car
they're willing to do
and
that.
flash their lights is just a way to go.
Beautiful.
We're a fan. That's all. The fact that somebody would do that, that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah.
So now when you go on the road, is the therapist coming with?
No, but we will have a nanny because we're touring with Maddie and Charity's daughter Frances,
who's how old?
15 months.
Oh.
To be honest with you,
wait, on the same bus?
Well, we'll have two. We'll have the baby bus, and then we'll have like. The
fun bus.
Yeah. Fun? Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to DJ at 2 a.m? You're on that one. You want to shake a little, like, baby tambourine for Franny? You're over here, all right?
Oh, wait, so that'll be weird. That'll be very weird.
Yeah, it'll be different.
You're not on that bus, though, are you?
I don't know yet. I feel like I
Can I answer for you? No. No.
Well, I don't know, man. I work out now, right? So I'm a morning guy. I'm a morning guy now. So maybe it's what I need.
Is your wife going on the road with you?
She'll probably meet up with us for a few shows.
Okay, that's a no. There's a big difference of like, she'll probably fly in, but probably to like New York or something. But no, she's not going to be on the road.
It's funny you say that because I'm like, the time like it starts getting close, it starts feeling real, and it's like, yeah, I know I'm like going to be gone. She's like, I think it's a good thing, and I'm like, all right, we have been attached to the hip for 2 years straight, so cool. Good to know where you stand.
What does she do? Like, is she an artist?
No, she's not an artist in
like a music artist.
She's not a musician. No, she works for Levi's and she's like in marketing.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's I don't know. It's almost like a yin and yang thing that we have. Like she's kind of the opposite of me.
Stylish and put together.
I mean, yeah, wow, you know that. So if I had to sum it up. Dang, I mean, you only saw it for like 5 seconds. You nailed it. Like, you that?
But you met her. You said you met her in San Francisco.
So, if you want a little backstory, I met her in Chicago, and this sounds corny, but the song "Misconnection" is essentially about us meeting. So I got stuck.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, should I have known that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't care if you don't, but like, it doesn't bother me you don't. But yeah, that's the whole background of that song was like. I got stuck in Chicago. I was flying back to Richmond, out of Memphis, and got caught up with some bad weather. Had to stay the night in Chicago. Realized that it was like, it's Lollapalooza weekend. We had that year off. So I went into the festival, which I typically wouldn't do. I'm not crazy about large-scale festivals. When you're just there to hang out, I just get a little overwhelmed. So, but I had a pass. I had my manager at he at the time was involved in this the whole kind of makeup of that festival, and I knew it would be kind of cush. So I was like, screw it, I'll go. Apparently Radiohead's headlining one of these nights that I want to see.
Right.
I might as well just hang out in Chicago. I got stuck here. I missed my connection. And that's how I met my wife.
Wait, so was she at Lollapalooza?
She was just there hanging out with like friends of mine. Like I had known her friends through my manager. They were all pals from San Francisco,
right?
And I knew all the other friends that were there, and she was the only one I had never seen before. And I guess like it was just one of those things where anytime I was seeing my manager with those friends, she was like she had something to do, or she was in a relationship, and I was in a relationship. It just never. Luckily, we never really saw one another until we were both kind of like available, and yeah, it was just one of those
things. Did you get together with her before writing the song?
I'm sorry, what are you asking me?
Because if not, that's a little odd.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, were you already dating her and then you wrote the song?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I wrote this song about you.
Hey, have you heard this song? It's about you. I'm John.
It's all right. I gave it to my mom. She liked it. Yeah. She said it was good.
My mom likes it. You'll meet her soon. My name's John. Come to Virginia with me. But to be honest with you, there is a little bit of that.
Is so like, really?
I met her. We'd known each other for 3 days, and I was just like, hey.
"Oh, I wrote a song about you."
No. Yes. No. let's move on. Let's move on.
No, wait. So you knew her for 3 days. I'm not stopping there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, I had to come back over here for something I had to do. Whatever. And I was just like, any chance you want to come to Virginia with me? And
this is in Chicago?
Yeah, this is like the third day of knowing each other. And she's like, let me think about that. That's obviously insane, but I'm not saying no.
Oh.
So I went to, as you do, like a deep dish pizza place, and you get a beer and you have a pizza. And you order the tickets anyways, in case she says yes. You have the seats next to one another.
Oh, that's a baller move.
I know. And I got the emergency row exit.
Ooh, John sprung for extra leg room.
That's right, I did.
I love this girl.
Yeah. She's going to know I love her now. Have you heard this song? I just wrote it. And so I see her later that night. She's just like, so I'm in. I'm like, great, here's your ticket. Missy was just like,
you already bought it.
Maybe I shouldn't go. Guys, go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Are we playing now?
Whatever you'd like.
Are you ready to play now? Yeah. Do you want to play now?
I can go now.
Okay. You ready? Wait, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, what are we playing?
This song's called Every Shade of Blue. It's the title track.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I got a sad girl at home. She wants to hang up the phone. It's been a long year, wrong year to be left alone. Promises made, sandcastles break, wave after wave. Promises made, go ahead, change, I'll see you the same. I don't wanna wait to get where we're going. Scared to death to die and not really knowing you. Every shade of blue. Underneath the sky, out in the open. Every little bit, I can't get enough of you. And every shade of blue. She's made of water and wine. It's only natural she cries. You can imagine it's magic anytime she smiles. Promises made, sandcastles break, wave after wave. Promises made, go ahead, change, I'll see you the same. I don't wanna wait to get where we're going. Scared to death to die and not really knowing you. Every shade of blue. Underneath the sky, out in the open. Every little bit, can't get enough of you. And every shade of blue. What if tonight was never ending? We'll make a fortress in the dark, where the weak can stop pretending and just be happy where we are. Are we happy where we are? I don't wanna wait to get where we're going. Scared to death to die and not really knowing you. Every shade of blue. Underneath the sky, out in the open. Every little bit, I can't get enough of you. And every shade of blue.
Jonathan Russell is with us. The Head and the Heart, Every Shade of Blue is out today. All right, let me run through a couple of tour dates. May 24th, Uptown Theater in Kansas City. June 6th and 7th in New York City at Pier 7. June 9th, Wolf Trap in D.C. September 17th, the Altria Theater in Richmond. Oh, homecoming show. September 18th, See Here Now in Asbury Park. October 14th, Cadence Bank Amphitheater in Atlanta. I want this to be our new thing. Every time that the record comes out, we do this.
Great.
I
love that.
Yeah, so a couple years from
special.
now. I don't know where I'll be a couple years. You may be doing a podcast that day, for all I know. But that's our thing now.
Yeah, Elliot, podcasts are not coming between you and I. This is top of the list.